It is. It is sustainable. I've always said, like, the key to changing the organization is learning how to win.
Mm-hmm.
They are learning how to win. And how do you learn how to win? In situational football, especially in crunch time in the fourth quarter. You know who's playing their best right now in fourth quarter? It's Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams yesterday in the fourth quarter was special. I don't know how many times that Caleb Williams eluded the rush from the New York Giants where you thought they had him dead to right for him to somehow come out of it and make a play, whether it was with his arm or with a big play with his legs in that game. And what you're just seeing is a guy, Ben Johnson has been so good for Caleb Williams. We knew at the beginning that he had to deconstruct him to build him back up. And you're seeing a guy that's more disciplined as far as not taking sacks, okay, completing more footballs down the field, and ultimately using his legs and being a playmaker with his legs. And when you're making these type of plays, if you're the Chicago Bears, okay, this is not fluky stuff that the Chicago Bears are doing. Okay, these are guys who are now learning how to win. And
Tonight on Bear Down Report, we are diving into a game, a moment, and a quarterback that reminded the entire NFL exactly what is being built in Chicago. The Bears didn't just survive another nail-biter. They didn't just squeeze out another last-second victory. They won because one man refused to lose. Because a team that has spent years trying to learn how to win is finally showing the league that they have arrived. Once again, Chicago reached deep into the fourth quarter, down double digits, and found the heart and fight that define this franchise at its best. And this time, it was their franchise quarterback, Caleb Williams, who put on the cape, stepped onto the field, and decided the game was his to take. Let's not pretend it was perfect. The box score won't make anyone gasp. 20 completions on 36 attempts, 220 yards, 1 passing touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. But anyone who only looks at the stat sheet wasn't watching the real story. They didn't see the 6 drops from pass catchers. They didn't see another handful of throws that should have been caught but won't show up as drops. What they also didn't see is the absolute chaos Williams escaped time after time, dancing away from pressure, slipping out of sacks that should have buried drives, and creating plays out of thin air. They didn't see the Houdini routine that kept this offense alive when everything else stalled. And they didn't feel that shift in the stadium when Chicago got the ball back down 10 with just over 10 minutes left. Because that is when Caleb Williams turned into the quarterback the Bears have been searching for since the earliest days of Jay Cutler. The one who doesn't panic when everything is on the line. The one who gets better when the moment gets bigger. On those final 2 drives, when winning was the only option, Williams accounted for 130 of the team's 139 yards. That is not luck. That is not fluke. That is not a defense collapsing or a special teams mistake bailing you out. That is a franchise quarterback taking over a game with the season hanging in the balance. That is the kind of quarterback who changes organizations. That is the kind of quarterback who leads teams to January football. And that is exactly why the Bears are sitting at 6-3, right where they needed to be heading into the toughest stretch of their schedule. Look around the NFC. Seattle looks sharp. The Rams are dangerous, the Eagles are physical, and Detroit is still scrapping for the division crown. But here's the truth. Chicago is right there with them. They have fought back from every early season stumble, and they have found different ways to win even as the roster battles injuries on both sides of the ball. And the coaching decisions at the trade deadline were smart, not flashy. Chicago wanted Alontae Taylor and Jermaine Johnson, but Ryan Poles refused to overpay for rentals. That is the sign of a general manager who understands the long game. Instead of mortgaging premium picks for players who might not even be here next year, the Bears grabbed depth at defensive line with Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and kept their flexibility intact for 2026. That's how smart franchises stay competitive for years instead of months. Yes, the defense is banged up. Yes, there are blown assignments, missed tackles, and frustrating stretches that make fans shake their heads. Injuries have gutted the secondary. Jalen Johnson isn't back yet, Kyler Gordon is still weeks away, and the line hasn't played close to its price tag. But even with all of that, the Bears are winning games while giving up yardage because they still find ways to stand tall when it matters most. This is a defense built on pride. At some point, pride always kicks in. And when Chicago starts getting pieces back in December, don't be surprised if this suddenly looks like a different unit. But the biggest shift happening in Chicago right now is on the offensive side of the ball, because Ben Johnson's scheme is not built to peak in September. It is designed to evolve week by week, and it is becoming more and more obvious that this offense is at its best when the young playmakers take center stage. Colston Loveland is emerging as one of the most reliable pass-catching tight ends in the league. Luther Burden is arguably the most explosive downfield weapon on the roster. And every time these rookies get touches, they produce. They do exactly what they were drafted to do: make plays that flip momentum and decide games. So yes, Chicago has flaws, but here's what makes this team different from the Bears of old. They know how to win now. They know how to handle chaos. They know how to make plays late. And they have a quarterback who treats pressure like fuel. Look around the league. The AFC is a gauntlet. The NFC has no true unbeatable giant. And the Bears are not sneaking up on anyone anymore. They are in the playoff hunt because they earned it. And if Caleb Williams keeps growing at this pace, if the rookies keep stepping up, if the defense gets just a little healthier, Chicago is going to punch their ticket to January and become the team that nobody wants to face. This is the moment Bears fans have been waiting for. Not perfection, not scoreboard dominance, but belief, fight, identity, and a quarterback who refuses to lose. Chicago is ahead of schedule. Chicago is dangerous, and Chicago is coming. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe the Bears are built to make this playoff push? Do you think Caleb Williams is becoming that guy for Chicago? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button if you enjoyed the breakdown, and make sure to subscribe to Bear Down Report. Big things are coming, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Bear down!